The history of Monument Avenue reflects much of the history of Richmond.
It's 100 years old. What a grand avenue it is. People come from all around to see it. It showcases bronze figures of Confederate heroes. Well, Charles Murphy continues his look at the history of Monument. Today, how Black Richmonders have viewed the avenue.
By the late 1880s, the political gains made by blacks in Virginia during Reconstruction were quickly eroding. The erection of the Lee Monument symbolized the rise to power of the Democratic Party, led by former Confederates. The whole affair was denounced by the Richmond Planet, whose fiery editor, John Mitchell, warned that the monument represented a legacy of treason and blood.
He looked upon it as Lee being a symbol of the past, which represented the oppression as far as blacks were concerned.
There are no monuments to Mitchell, just a square in Jackson Ward, and men like retired dentist Francis Foster to revere his memory. Foster says the power structure of the day chose to tolerate Mitchell instead of trying to silence him.
There were those people who just thought that this is just another crazy Negro. There were those other folks who realized that it was good to have someone giving vent to feelings, and it was good so that people back home could be saying, "Sock it to him, John." It would engender a spirit of compliance nevertheless.
As Richmond entered a new century, the bitterness of war began to fade. A dwindling number of Confederate veterans gathered for reunions and parades along Monument Avenue, but the monuments gradually began to lose their political significance. That is until the 1960s. As blacks began to approach a majority in the city, there were actually fears that a black-dominated city council would remove these symbols of the Old South from Monument Avenue. It all seems a bit silly now.
I have never heard of any person who entertained such an idea, even for the moment. Monument Avenue is an integral part of our history, and we can't stop that, and we shouldn't want to.
In Richmond, Charles Murphy, Channel 12 News.
Very interesting history. Tomorrow, the Battle of Monument Avenue and the close call with a paving truck. Chuck will explain.
I don't know what that is.
All of that, I don't either.